Hey, shalom everyone, this is Chris Shoemaker, also known as Yehuda ben Shomer, and welcome to the Daily Drosh. Today's Daily Drosh is taken from Deuteronomy chapter 7, and I'm going to be beginning with verse 17. It says, "You may say in your heart, 'These nations outnumber me. How shall I be able to dispossess them?' Do not be afraid of them. Remember how Adonai your God dealt with Pharaoh and all of Egypt. The great ordeals your own eyes have seen, the signs and wonders, the mighty hand and outstretched arm, which Adonai your God has brought you out. So will Adonai your God deal with all the peoples whom you fear to face. And what is more, Adonai your God will send hornets to destroy those who remain and hide from you." You know, we often see and hear in entertaining events the grand finale, uh, or we've saved the best for last. Well, God seems to always do the opposite of what man has established and what man does and what the enemy does. They save the best for last. You know, they have a grand finale, a big shebang. And granted, there will be a big shebang at the Battle of Armageddon when every enemy of the Lord will finally and forever be vanquished and defeated. But we're talking about the children of Israel entering the promised land and getting ready to battle the seven Canaanite nations: the Hittites, the Girgashites, the Amorites, Canaanites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites. And the children of Israel were just overwhelmed, and they didn't know how they were going to conquer these nations that were bigger, more numerous, and stronger than they were. They were the little guy. They were the new kid on the block. They were outnumbered. They were surrounded. God even said earlier, he says, "I didn't choose you because you were bigger, better, greater, badder, or more righteous. I choose you on purpose because you were the smallest of all nations." God treasures the underdog, and the overcoming of the underdog is proof that God is God and that God exists, because he roots for the underdog. Okay, getting a little bit off subject here, but talking about this whole grand finale thing, God started the nation of Israel out with a big bang, with a grand finale at the beginning, because he conquered Egypt. Egypt was the big dog, was the world power, was the center of trade and commerce of that day. They had a pantheon of gods that they served and worshipped. They traded with all the peoples of the known world. They enslaved all the peoples of the known world. And they were mystical, they were powerful, they had technology, they had weapons. And God destroyed them through the 10 plagues. The 10 plagues targeted one or more of the pantheon of Egyptian gods. So with each plague came the defeat of one of the Egyptian gods. And finally, Pharaoh, who was a demigod, considered a demigod, was defeated himself. And the parting of the Red Sea, those were all big, spectacular things. So now Israel is about to enter the promised land and take out these seven Canaanite nations. They're like, "Oh my gosh, how am I going to do it?" The Lord's like, "Hey, remember the 10 plagues of Egypt. Remember the parting of the Red Sea. That was the biggest and baddest thing that I could ever do for you. That was the grand finale that I gave to you at the beginning. I did the impossible. I conquered the biggest and baddest nation of the world at that time to prove to you that I'm God. So if I could do that for you, then these seven Canaanite nations are less than Egypt. They're not as big and bad as Egypt. If I conquered Egypt for you and destroyed the pantheon of gods of Egypt for you, these Canaanite nations and their pantheon of gods are nothing. It's a cakewalk compared to what I did with Egypt. So don't worry." So if you notice, every time Israel is about to go into battle, or they're about to face a new enemy or a new threat, God always brings them back to the beginning, to the big shebang. Not the grand finale, but the big shebang that started it all, the conquering of Egypt. And if God could do that, anything that stands before us is nothing compared to what he did with Egypt. So just always remember the biggest, baddest, greatest thing that God has ever done for you. And no matter what you face, go back to that moment in your life that God did that miraculous thing. And just know that whatever is set before you is nothing. God's got it. He's got your back. He's going to walk you through. Thanks for listening. Have a great day. Shalom and Shavua Tov. Hey parents, want to get your kids involved in Torah but just don't know how? Well, go to my website, abrahamsdescendants.com, and look for the Kids Torah portions. Or go to my YouTube channel and check out Kids Torah.